And
our government,
Hunter Biden's laptop.
Our government should be talking. Go ahead.
Tim, no, let Cara finish up, and then I'll bring you in, Tim.
The government should constantly be talking to lots of companies because there are disinformation campaigns from Iran.
Okay, never mind. I don't know who this lady is. She's about to get bullied like crazy on this panel.
Destiny loses his cuckoldry marbles on this insane clip. I did actually cover this clip that he reacts to in a separate video, so go check that out. Maybe I'll link it down below, put it on a card somewhere. I'm here. I'm sure you guys can find it. But oh my gosh, Destiny has to argue against free speech because he can't wrap his cuck brain around the idea that the First Amendment is muy importante. Let's just get straight into it. It's a crazy video today.
Those intelligence officers made a mistake and really thought this was Russian.
By the way, if you're like, wow, Dave Smith, you're talking very fast. That's because Destiny, he does like long live streams. So he kind of speeds up the video he's reacting to. So it's not me, it's Destiny. Blame him. Okay, let's get back to it.
Information. And was Hunter Biden's laptop.
Like, again, this is the normalization of the crazy. Imagine like what he's just said, he's just turned on its head. Like what happened, right? Imagine somebody looks at my Snap map, okay? And they see that I was in Omaha, Nebraska, and then they see that I was in New York City the same day. And they look at you and they're like, okay, well, we see how far Steven moved. He teleported. And the other person's like, no, he probably flew in a plane. And the guy's like, are you going to tell me that thousands of pounds of aluminum and engines overcame gravity and flew through the sky? It's like his statement here. Are you going to tell me that all of these people working in intelligence thought that there was a chance that Donald Trump, the guy who had publicly already glazed Putin, had already publicly called for Hillary's 10,000 emails to be released, who had people in his cabinet, or not cabinet, I'm sorry, his...
Is Destiny saying Hillary's emails should not have been released? Huh?
What do you call it? Campaign election team. People like Roger Stone that were literally working alongside Russian operatives.
Roger Stone did nothing wrong. Facts.
You're going to tell me that these people genuinely thought there could be some kind of Russian interference and not instead my theory, which is way more believable, that all of the intelligence agencies were in cahoots with each other and they were all working in a malicious way. Now, keep in mind that not only does his story have zero evidence, there's evidence for the other story that literally came out from people who were pro-Trump, right? The Durham report, I think, is the one I referenced that dug through the FBI, found like, yeah, there's probably kind of like political bias here and there needs to be more checking on stuff. That was like the scathing review. Not that people were maliciously working to lie against the Trump administration, right? Like, but his story somehow gets to be presented here as like, oh, you're going to tell me that, oh, that these people made a mistake, oh, and it's not obvious that there was a massive, huge global conspiracy top down through all of our federal government and all of the social medias and all of the like,
that those intelligence officers made a mistake and really thought this was Russian disinformation.
And also, how dare you, you cowardly little spineless cuckworm, how are you going to sit here and say that, how are you going to...
I'm sorry, I have to pause this right now. He's calling someone else a little cuckworm? Takes one to know one, huh, Destiny?
Sit here and say there was this grand conspiracy and then not implicate Trump at all. You're going to tell me this conspiracy was so huge and so grand and involved all of our intelligence agencies and involved all the different like line members and all the heads of these agencies, but the head of the FBI, Donald Trump, if you go far up enough, right, didn't know? How is this conspiracy so grand, but it just stopped right there, right at the head of the FBI? How? What? Like, we're not going to think for a second about it? Because you better believe that if it was Biden or if it was Harris or if it was Clinton or if it was Obama, that this would have been, he would have been personally involved directing all of this, right? Like, hello?
And our government,
Hunter Biden's laptop.
Our government should be talking. Go ahead.
Tim, no, let Cara finish up, and then I'll bring you in, Tim.
The government should constantly be talking to lots of companies because there are disinformation campaigns from Iran.
Okay, never mind. I don't know who this lady is. She's about to get bullied like crazy on this panel. I hate that, like, this goes back to the normalization thing. It feels like if I were to give this opinion, I've already lost 80% of the audience. I've probably lost 20% of the audience on my streams. But like, any reasonably intelligent person would say, social media companies are massive. They have huge power in the United States. Of course, there should obviously be some communication back and forth between our intelligence agencies and these massive social media companies. That's obviously true, but that feels like an opinion that you wouldn't even be able to fight for. Like people would just automatically already, like there's nothing you could say to convince somebody. I was like, that's such an obviously true thing.
Tim.
The government should constantly be talking to lots of companies because there are disinformation campaigns from Iran, Russia. You can't pretend that China's not all up in our grill.
Like, look at these guys laughing. They don't believe
By the way, if you guys enjoy videos like this, make sure you like today's video, subscribe. It really does boost the video in the algorithm because YouTube doesn't like channels that speak the truth like mine because they're sexist and weird. But yeah, like, comment in orange heart. Let's get back to it.
disinformation from foreign actors. Excuse me. Let me introduce you to a well-known disinformationer, Leah Thomas. These are the real threats. Okay. Have you seen the drag queens at the local library? Like, look at them laugh.
Literally, yeah. Yeah.
Foreign enemies, a foreign interferent. Sorry, only USA does that. Now you notice that Dave Smith here is laughing and Tim Pool's not. That's because Dave Smith is still on the Kremlin payroll. He hasn't gotten busted yet for whatever foreign bullshit ass money that he hasn't been caught with yet, and Tim Pool has. So it's not as funny for him. But Dave still thinks this is all like really fucking hilarious because his foreign owners are still supporting everything he says.
Did he just say that Dave Smith's on the Kremlin payroll? Oh my gosh. Destiny, come on. Maybe your ex-wife was, but I don't think Dave Smith is.
To lots of companies because there are disinformation campaigns from Iran, Russia. You can't pretend that China's not all up in our grill. You just can't. You just can't. And there should be discussions between government and companies. They're going to occur. By the way, they've been.
Let's see. And then how does Dave Smith cog out of this? Because I don't think he'll ever directly say he has one of two. He's got one of two chairs that he can sit in basically while he watches his own country getting asked by Donald Trump. He can either sit in the chair and hold up the sign that says, well, America does it worse, or he can sit in the other chair. Oh no, there's two chairs in the first chair. It's America does it worse, or America does it to itself worse than anybody else does it. And then the other chair is yeah, maybe they interfere, but everybody does, and it's not a big deal. These are one of the two chairs that he wants to crawl towards right now. Let's say free speech. I'm not even convinced that he's an American citizen. I don't know if these guys are all like fucking salt or whatever. What's that? Where they're like children that are like bred in other countries and then they end up being swapped out for American citizens as like secret like sleeper agents or whatever. They always show themselves, they always tell on themselves too. As soon as they start bringing up like the First Amendment or bringing up like freedom of speech, like these people have no concept of anything about the country or America or freedom of speech or anything. These are like sleeper agents against.
You mean the founding principles of this very nation, the First Amendment and free speech? What are you talking about? I don't even think Destiny's going through his period this time. I think he's going through menopause, honestly.
The Republic.
Let me bring Tim in. You've been waiting patiently. Tim, your response.
Free speech is a principle. When we say that Facebook, X, Twitter, whatever platform is silencing free speech, we are not talking about the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects multiple rights, of which one of those is free speech. So this constant conflation of a private company isn't violating your First Amendment. I'm not going to bring up the First Amendment. I'm going to go on a platform, I'm going to express my ideas and share news, and if they silence me, they are violating my free speech. Now,
like in response to that, she should just start screeching at the top of her lungs. Just scream. She should just be screaming. And she should do it until they mute her mic.
Wow, it's shocking that he is part of the party where there were many ugly women literally filming themselves screeching, crying, screaming because Trump won. Makes sense. It's all, the dots are connecting, mis amigos.
And then when they unmute her mic, she should say, was he just attacking my freedom of speech? Is this good freedom of speech? Is that what you mean when you say freedom of speech? That every single person has an equal right to every single platform to say every single thing they want at every single point in time? Or
this is the same guy, the same cuck that thought if you're a Trump supporter and you go to a rally, it makes sense for you to get shot. Keep that in mind. But of course, does he get banned? No, because he's a left-wing nut cuck job.
more importantly, this argument about, you mentioned there's a fever dream on the left and the right. I want to make one thing clear. Mark Zuckerberg coming out and saying that now we're going to have more free speech or whatever it is he's trying to say. This is not a pendulum swing. This is not the weather vane. Certainly, I do believe the man is just bending the knee to whatever power structure he sees. But if we were actually going to see a pendulum swing in the other direction, they would keep the fact-checking program, ban the liberal news outlets, and only allow conservative outlets to fact-check posts on Facebook. When you look at all sides, when you look at ground news, the majority of U.S. fact-checkers had a liberal bias, and only one, which was associated with Daily Caller, was considered to be conservative-leaning.
So this is just like the standard 75 IQ or Russian agent talking point that, like, yeah, most of the fact checkers lean left. Well, what if one side is lying more than the other?
Like I said, folks, Destiny.
Destiny, oh, Destiny. I don't know. I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you buying anything that Destiny ever puts out? Honestly, my favorite part about Destiny is that he says the things that you're not allowed to say. So kudos to you, Destiny, on that specific point. However, I cannot believe that someone like Destiny really wants to censor free speech. And no, you're not a foreign agent. You don't have other interests because you want to preserve the sanctity of the First Amendment. Sorry, not sorry. Go find another wife that will be okay with a so-called husband to watch her get railed by other men. Have fun with that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, comment an orange heart or a red heart for Destiny's menstruation and or menopause, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.